And hello and good morning. I'm David Boles, and this is Boles.tv, BOLES.tv. Live and in person with you here, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. And it was a busy weekend. Oh my goodness, we had so many interesting things happening. One of them is Jan Marie and I decided, as we once in a while do, and perhaps we should more often do, we decided to do a little fast. A 2-day fast, which is pretty good. The longest we've been able to fast, just, drinking water, is 5 days, and we've done that twice. That was sort of during the pandemic where there was nothing else to do, so it's like, hey, let's see how long we can fast. There are people who do, I just saw someone online did a 30-day fast. That concerns me. And he lost 60 pounds in 30 days. He was desperate. I am concerned about the irreversible health damage you might do to yourself if you're not doing that with direct supervision from a doctor, because I don't think he was taking in a lot of protein or enough calories. So we did 2 days, and we started Friday at noon. Saturday noon was one day, and then Saturday to Sunday noon was second day. And it was good. It was easy. And some people complain online in the fasting group, oh, I can only, I'm supposed to do 7 days. I could only do 3, and I'm disappointed. And some other people say, yeah, I can only do 1, and then I have to eat. And there was a lot of support saying, look, fasting is good for your body. It gives your body a chance to catch up, to clean out. And even if you're just doing it for 1 day, it's better than not doing it at all. Because most people cannot go 8 hours without eating. And if you're going to do a 1-day fast, you're going 24 hours without eating. So that makes a lot of sense to me. And one thing I notice that when I fast, you have to still take your medication. Blood pressure medication, other kinds of medication. That, especially overnight, the pee time, the blood pressure breaks are early and often. And I think it's because your body doesn't have to process your dinner, doesn't have to process any kind of vegan dessert you might have had. It doesn't have to do anything. It's just sitting there waiting for action. And when nothing happens, and you're sleeping, then your body says, oh, we could do some really deep cleaning now because we're a little bit bored. The old boy is sleeping, so let's just clean out his kidneys and his blood, and let's just make it all spick and span. Now he'll have to wake up every 2 hours and get rid of us. But hey, we'll do the cleaning to make sure it all works. And so I'm all for that. And then at Sunday noon, we had a very nice vegan bowl that we ordered, and it was just absolutely delicious. And so you lose a lot of weight. Over that fast, I believe I lost like 4 pounds, and then you eat and you gain 2 pounds right back. So you have to have the mindset, you're losing a lot of water weight, not fat. And so you just realize that when you start eating again, the weight's going to go back on. So it's just a long-term commitment where you just have to keep focused and keep going and find a goal weight and then maintain the goal weight. Because dieting for a lot of people is just like a sport. I'll lose 20 pounds, 10 pounds. See if I can get there. I get there. Oh my God, I got there. Now let's go celebrate. Let's drink. Let's have dessert. Let's eat a lot of carbs. And then in 2 weeks, you put it all back on. It happens to so many people. And people get so discouraged. And that's why a lot of professionals who counsel this say don't think of it as a diet. I mean, a diet is what you eat. But a diet should not be about suffering. A diet should be about just getting enough to maintain your body and to remain healthy. And so some people do that, and some people just can't help it. And some people just give up, especially as you get older. You have to work a lot harder. You can't build muscle as easy. You're just not as strong as you age. Even with supplements and Pure, you're going to feel the age creeping into your body. And that means you're not as active. And that means your weight ratio to your strength ratio is going to be out of whack. And you just have to keep going. Older people eat less. That is the mantra. Because their bodies don't need as many active calories to be burned every day. As you can see, we have our lovely Discord chat going live right now. It's a new feature of the Boles.tv stream where you can join in voice or text on Discord. And here's my new little Discord promo that I'll put in chat for you. So you can join us if you like. Now, because we're a careful stream, I have to, put you into the live chat and the text chat just so we're safe and people aren't going to go in there and cause havoc. And usually you can tell by the username if a person is going to come in there and cause havoc with you. Usually, not always. Mr. Poo Poo Panties is probably going to give you more trouble than John the Angel. So, last week, I shared with you my new chair, as you can see, Secret Lab, bum, bum, bum. And as part of that deal, I got the cloth version, which I like. It was more expensive than the leatherette version, but I thought it would be cooler in the summer, because the summers here get very hot, very humid. And while we have wonderful air conditioning, who the heck wants to use it? It's very expensive. And I read something the other day that said that actually cooling down a person in the heat of the summer is more effectively done with just a fan and not air conditioning. I have a lot of fans here. I like the movement of the air. And several of them are on 24 hours a day. Just on low, just moving things around. Especially when you live in a big apartment building where people are connected and you can smell cooking and you can smell the Mary Jane being smoked, the ditchweed, the pot, the marijuana. So as part of this deal with Secret Lab, they have two kinds of cleaning wipes. One for the leatherette, which I understand, and one for the cloth, which I find extremely curious. I did not know that there was such a thing as a cleaning cloth for a cloth computer chair. Fabric wipes, if you will. I didn't know they existed. I have not opened them because this is new and it still smells new. It's still off-gassing. But the directions look simple, just like dude wipes. Hey, open it, pull it out, put it on your cloth, and I guess it's clean. I don't know how long it'll take for me to need to clean my cloth chair because I've never done it before. But in some odd ways, I am looking forward to performing the actions. Now, here's another interesting thing that I just discovered over the weekend. You are able to, and I found this because of my Stream Deck. There's a little thing in there called VoiceMod. And Pretzel Rocks, which is another interesting music service, also has buttons, I guess is what you'd say, for use of Pretzel Rocks in the Stream Deck stream thing. My music is not playing. My music is not forwarding. Because I have learned after 58 minutes and 55 seconds of streaming, my stream will stop. But it's not letting me change the song for some reason. There we go. So, I've learned that if I want to keep my music playing, I'm supposed to not wait until 58 minutes to restart the music in the stream. It's just to, like, if I go on break or if I have a break, just to click the next button. And I just tried it as an experiment. It didn't work. Welcome to Monday. So Pretzel Rocks has this whole thing where you can program the music into your Stream Deck and punch a button, and it's all fun and neat. And I also saw exploring that I can also use Stream Deck to mod my voice via a thing called VoiceMod, which makes me sound funny. And I think we were talking about this briefly in a different stream, and people can use bits to change your voice. I'm not sure if that will work. I've set it up, but I'm not sure if that will actually work because of the way that this is all messed up with my streaming on Windows 11. So I wrote myself some notes because this was very technical. So I have to make sure that VoiceMod is running. I have to turn on Hear Myself in VoiceMod. If I don't have that on, which gives me a little bit of an echo, it's very weird, then it doesn't mod my voice. I have to turn on my microphone in Streamlabs because then you hear me and the VoiceMod, which is sort of interesting, but it kills the whole effect. So I'm not going to do that. Now I'm making up my notes as I go along here because I'm not. Oh, things are getting deleted. Not a good thing. So back. Where's my backspace? That's the backspace. That's the. Okay, so here we go. So and VoiceMod runs in the browser via Wavelink, so you can hear it. Now, when I woke up my machine this morning, VoiceMod was gone. My browser was no longer playing through Wavelink. It was just playing through my regular speakers. And I thought, this is 10 minutes before the show. What have I done? I have once again ruined my day, and it's not even the beginning of Monday yet. But then I persevered, and I looked at it, and I said, okay, turn VoiceMod back on, which I did, and it seemed to work. Then go back into your settings for the browser and make the browser go into Wavelink instead of the speakers. And it did. Maybe the browser didn't work because I set my sound to be, that's what happened. I set my sound to be my speakers over the weekend instead of going through Wavelink, which I can't hear unless I wear my headphones. So now I'm going to try this VoiceMod thing and we'll have a little bit of fun with it. Oh my goodness, here's our friend, Gordon. It scrolled by so fast, I don't know why I'm pinning this so I can read it better. Gordon says, just a quick, hopefully amusing note. The background sound, for some reason, makes me think of a man standing in the background, wearing all black, and a beret, standing in front of a synthesizer, holding down only 3 or 4 keys at a time. Well, that's interesting, and I take your criticism to heart. The music we're hearing is by Fog Temple, and they have very long songs that are like 60 minutes. And if you have been a member of this stream for a little while, you know that we have had trouble with DMCA notices from YouTube and Twitch. Now, if you get one on YouTube, it's okay because you can appeal it and get it dropped. On Twitch, if they mute you, it doesn't go unmuted. So you really have to be careful which service you use, and they all kind of have problems. I've been muted on YouTube and Twitch by all 3 services that I have. Slipstream, Pretzel Rocks, and Monster Cat Gold. So it's a concern because if you get muted on Twitch, then when you upload your downloaded version of your stream, it's muted. And you can't unmute it unless you re-download it from Twitch and put it back up. But that doesn't work because Twitch doesn't ever unmute. So maybe I should just go with Pretzel Rocks sometimes. And the one time I played a stream, it was so interesting. It was the staff picks from Slipstream, and the music was great. I liked it. I listened to it all weekend. I said, I'm using this on the stream because everything on Slipstream is supposed to be safe to listen to. So I was playing it. Immediately. Finished the stream. 3 hits from Twitch. They muted 3. So 18 minutes of my show gone. And then I uploaded it to YouTube because I know it's probably not going to get unmuted. So I have 18 minutes of muting on YouTube as well. So that's why I just stick to this for now. I don't know if any music is safe. But so far, this playlist is better. The other one, I have 2 playlists. One is full of lots of different kind of songs in this vein. I listened to them all, 76 songs. And some of them are an hour long, but most of them are like a minute long because they're meant for like using in a commercial or in just a little promo. And I just use them to stream. But then several of those got hit because the underlying rights get sold, they get a new producer, they get a new agency, and then you're just out of it. And you are stuck. Now, what's interesting about Twitch is if they notice that you are using a song that has strikes against it, or that is illegal for you to use, they think, they mute you for a minimum of 6 minutes because most songs run 3 minutes. Well, this song from Fog Temple is a minute. So would they mute a whole hour? Or would they just mute 6 minutes? Or would it keep repeating after every 6 minutes? They would just mute and mute and mute. I don't know. But I take the criticism grandly. And now we're going to try to use our VoiceMod thing, which is kind of fun and different. And some of these VoiceMod things have music behind them, which frightens me. Because I want to show you what it does, but I'm also afraid, is that music safe? I mean, it's technically, of course, safe to use because that's how they're putting it out there, is it's the background for a voice mod that you would use while streaming. But I've learned that doesn't really mean anything. So I guess we'll just have fun with this and see if it works or not. So VoiceMod has to go through Wavelink through my browser. I have to turn off my microphone in Streamlabs so you can hear the modification. So I'm going to turn off my mic right now. And I got to remember to turn it back on because you're not going to hear me if I turn it off. So there we go. All right, now, VoiceMod is on. I have Hear Myself turned on, Voice Changer turned on, and this is clean. So this, you shouldn't be hearing anything funky. We will start with deep.
This is my deep voice. It's a voice mod. It's not my real voice. Tommy, can you hear me? This is the Doctor voice mod. And it's very strange because I can sort of hear myself in my headphones, and then I sort of hear this secondary echo of me as the Doctor.
Trauma medic. I don't know what it means, but it does have background music, which we may like or we may not like.
This is my robot voice. It's nice to see you. It's certainly a thrill. I can't keep quoting the song because then I'll get in trouble for stealing lyrics.
This is the living. I don't think the computer very well.
Hey, I'm a boomer. Now, this voice changing, I don't believe is going to our Discord channel. In Discord, it's just my regular voice. If you want the voice mod voice, here we are. Come and get us.
Are you all old-timers out there, this is the telephone voice. This is how we used to talk to each other all the day back in the 70s. I'm the police. This is VoiceMod. I have my own television show, VoiceMod.
Now this is the helium voice. 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had someone here who would pop in every day. I think they were probably 11 years old, asking me to suck the air out of my helium balloons that I got for my birthday and talk funny with helium voice. Now, if I had known about VoiceMod back then, I would have said, "Hey, sure," and pretended to inhale that and then won 200 bits. But I didn't know about VoiceMod, and I was not going to destroy a birthday gift from the Jana Marie. Thank you very much. Now, here's my favorite. This is my second favorite. This is magic chords.
So I guess if you want to sing a song, you would use magic chords. Or if you're a little more hardcore, you'd use the T-Pain. Oh yeah. Now my favorite, of course, is the harmony voice. Hey, I love to sing to you with harmony. Oh, man. It's a harmony voice. Is it 4-part harmony, 3-part harmony, or higher? I don't know, but it makes me want to talk in sing-song. So that was VoiceMod. I think I'm back. I think I'm live and in person from the Omaha Civic Auditorium. So that could be fun. I can see using that like, doing a podcast or some kind of programmatic show. And you want to use different voices without freaking out people. And it's very easy. You don't really have to change your own voice. You just speak regularly. And people use this. I understand that's what these streamers do when they go on these games and they play different characters or they want to change their voice. They're using a voice changer, like VoiceMod. I think there are a lot of them out there. There are also things like, I think it has some kind of soundboard. Now, these are fun. I think I have to turn the Hear Myself on again. I'll turn off my mic so they have different sounds that are funny. I can keep my mic on because these are not going to change, I don't think. There's an alert. Oh, I have to go back to clean. Hello. Okay. Now I'll turn this off. Will we still hear this? Really? It's like all kinds of ringtone. Rim shot. Crickets. Sad trombone. Doorbell. Keyboard. Music. Now, I would be very terrified to use any of this music for any extended length of time because somebody's going to hit you somewhere for something. No, thank you. The trauma medic voice changers. Music to go along with your voice changer. More music that I would never use. Retro games. It's a punch. Kick. Sounds like exactly the same between a punch and a kick. A laser. Mute. You can also censor yourself. You can spend a whole stream just playing with this stuff. That's a laser beam, I guess, from a cartoon, an explosion, a pop, a slide whistle, a takeoff, mix buttons, charge, okay, interesting. So that is VoiceMod with a soundboard, which I think are very fun. I sort of have that here on my Stream Deck. I used to have a lot more, and then I had to reinstall. Windows didn't have anything. That's mine. Thank you. Mine too. City Sounds. This is when I succeed in chess, which is not very often. More applause, which I really appreciate. Country sounds, for when I'm telling stories about the Midwest. City sounds. I could just open my window to get this, but I'll take it, especially the sirens. Fun stuff. We have so much to talk about today, and I've spent most of my time playing with myself, as they say. We're taking a very brief break, back momentarily, and I'm going to try to hit an ad button and see if an ad plays. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Will the ad play or will the ad not play? It doesn't want to play because it says we've already played it. Okay, back in a moment. And we're back from break. I'm David Boles. This is Boles.tv, BOLES.tv, live with you Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Plus, on our Discord server, discord.gg/BOLES. If you want to join in the live text and live voice, you can be a part of the stream if you are so inclined. Well, we talked about a lot of interesting, fun things today, and before we get into my conversation about 1970s movies, the ad button worked. Serve 6 ads. Ooh, now that's very interesting. That's good. So I got to remember that when I go on break, I have to mute my microphone and then hit the ad button. Excellent. That's exactly what we want to have. Thank you, Gordon, for letting me know. So over the weekend, Will Smith was punished by the Academy. He had resigned, hoping to avoid a certain sort of punishment. He must have known something was coming, and they moved up the punishment date from the 18th to the 8th, I believe, and banned him for 10 years. Can't go to the Academy Awards for 10 years. And people were cheering that, and some people were not, which is always so curious to me. And I read this whole thread, I think it was on Twitter, of people going back in time to when Adrian Brody won Best Actor, went on stage and gave a big mouth kiss to Halle Berry. And they're saying, to the Academy, you need to ban Adrian Brody because he sexually assaulted Halle Berry by kissing her on the lips. He did not ask, he just did it. And it's the same thing. And it's on your Academy Awards website as a highlight. So that makes you duplicitous, that makes you two-faced as the Academy Awards, or how you've treated Will Smith. And it's just weird and orchestrated and strangely fundamental. And it makes you wonder, where are these people coming from? And is it the same thing? I don't think it's the same thing. Different time, different place. There wasn't not a lot of outrage anywhere when he kissed Halle Berry. Some people seem to like it. I agree it was an invasion. He should have asked first. But the Will Smith slapping Chris Rock was instantaneously a problem the second it happened. Even in the room. You can see people in the room like, what just happened? And during the kiss, people applauded, people cheered, people thought it was okay. And that was a different time. We've learned a lot more about sexual promiscuity and Me Too movement. But hitting people has never been acceptable. Kissing people involuntarily, some of it's culture, some of it's a little bit different than that. Gordon said he did a quick Google search, and Halle said her feeling when it happened was, what the F is happening right now? Yeah, I should see if I can find that clip. I don't know if I can play it, but I might be able to find it. Brody kissing Barry. Yeah, I can play it, I bet, but I can't play any of the sound. So, here we go. Oh, I have to turn off the audio. Halle Berry gets real about the Adrian Brody kiss. What? Oh, what happened? Oh, I watch what happens live. Oh, I can't stand Andy Cohen. I'm not watching that one. Sorry. No Andy Cohen here. Adrian Brody wants to talk about the Halle Berry Oscar kiss. Kisses Halle Berry. Okay, this is 11 seconds. This is what we want, but I gotta turn the sound off again. The sound is off. Okay, so this is what goes. That's it. Okay, there he goes. Kisses her. He's so happy he won. She has to play it up because she wants to go along with it. Okay, it is a little gross. And I think he said after that he always wanted to do that or something, which is like, meow. Don't say that. So is that equal to a slap in the face? Some people supporting Will Smith says the same thing. I'm not sure if it's the same thing. But it is a little weird. I remember when this happened. When did this happen? What year was that? 75th Annual Academy Awards. I'm not showing the big browser. It's Monday. I apologize. Here it is. I'll keep playing it because it's been playing on a loop and I've been talking to you and I'm all obsessed with trying to find the thing. So it's a little offensive. And she was a good sport. Now, what if Halle Berry had slapped him after he kissed her like that? 100%. He is inappropriately kissing her, and she doesn't have to take it. Give him a big old slap. And the question is, was Will Smith in the audience that night? And if so, why didn't he run on stage and give a slap to Adrian Brody? Teach him a lesson. But what year did that happen? Oh, now it's going to do a different video. We don't want that. No. Keep playing this video. Actually, we do this. What year did Brody kiss Barry? 2003. So see, it's almost, 20 years ago, 19 years ago. That's a long time. The world changes. Our friend the Google says 2003, Mr. Gordon says, and he's right. And I appreciate that very much. I like having help and support. Trying to find stuff. 2003. Now, here is a very interesting video that I probably will play the audio, because it's on Reddit and there's not music. It's music. 2003. 2003, I think is correct. Or, if we want to be really good and fancy, 2003. So this is a live stream video that shows how Will Smith and Jada Pinkett interact as a married couple. And this is from several years ago. And I believe the whole thing is 45 minutes long. They are in their home in which they share together. She is live on Instagram. And he doesn't want to be on Instagram. Figure out I have to pause my music for this and then turn this up so you can hear it. Wow. And then you can just see the sort of relationship that they have. Some say he's a simp. Some say he's a cuck. Others say he needs to get out of that marriage right now because she is a vicious, controlling, mean, and evil person. You can decide. I don't know if I have the sound turned on, but this one I will turn on the sound. This one I'll risk.
Is coming to the table.
Let's
She's
go
going to
back.
be at the red table.
Start it over.
You know, Esther Perel is coming to the table. She's going to be at the red table. Would you say she has been instrumental in you and I redefining our relationship?
Okay, I have to go back. Now, the red table is this, like, therapist person where they were sitting, recording this, and Jada was there, and Will was there. And Jada's friend, who is this, I don't know, psychic therapist, somebody was having this discussion. It was like marriage therapy, and Will was not into it. But it was in a formal setting. And she kind of said to him in that interview that she's referring to, because of how you behave, I have to find love outside the marriage. And so therefore I am sharing a bed, as I understand it, with my our son's friend. And he shows me more love and affection and sexual vitality than you ever did. And you can find that video online. It's terrible to watch. And Will is just sitting there, red-faced like this. So she's trapping him in this secondary video saying, hey, when we were on that Red Live, whatever it's called, Red Show together, it really helped our marriage, didn't it, Will? And he basically says, look, this is my home. I don't want to be on your Instagram. Leave me alone. And you can see how she responds to that.
You know, Esther Perel is coming to the table. She's going to be at the red table. Would you say she has been instrumental in you and I redefining our relationship?
I would say don't just start filming me without asking me.
Oh, my goodness.
If you could film me.
Esther, come help us again, please. I'm still dealing with foolishness.
Don't. No, because she don't just
Would you say that she helped us heal the hurts that we caused between one another?
My social media presence is my bread and butter, okay? So you can't just use me for social media and not, don't just start rolling. I'm standing in my house. Don't just start rolling.
Please watch us stare at the red table because she's helped us a lot. Can't you tell?
Ooh. That's cold. I'm sorry. It's cold, cruel. And right there, you see that. And you feel for Will Smith. You think, boy, that guy is stuck. That guy is trapped. And she's never going to let him get out because she enjoys putting him in that position. She enjoys watching him sweat. Whatever he did to her, whatever she did to him, let it go. Move on. I'll go this way, you go that way, and let's don't speak to each other ever again. Now, he would go for that, but she's not going to. And on Reddit, people are saying, a friend needs to go to Will and say, we have to get you out of here. We have to rescue you. Because that is a not so subtle form of abuse. And it is a little unfortunate and damaging. And now I have to put my music back on, and I have to turn down my audio. There we go. So, before I talk about movies, I'm trying to think when I have time here, because it's almost time for another slight break, and then I get to push my button again. We'll just do a little bit of interesting news, then we'll come back from the break, and we have to talk about Jessica Seinfeld, and we're going to talk about 70s movies. But I want to make sure I have time to do it and not stop in the middle, because this is good stuff. Not that, but this. This is very interesting stuff. Our friend Alexei Guzy, who, remember, is a Russian genius and who writes about sleep all the time, sends out a newsletter every once in a while saying, hey, this is what I'm up to. And he's funding a lot of research. He's a very young guy. He said, my girlfriend and my immigration attorney, I believe he lives in Massachusetts now, have said, do not renounce your Russian citizenship yet. Now is the worst time to do that legally. Just keep being Russian. You're here on a special visa. Don't mess around with it. Don't just talk all you want to about Russia, but don't renounce. Because I guess if he renounces, then they would be kicked out because he can't stay because his visa is a Russian visa. But here's one of the interesting links that he posted, and there isn't a lot of follow-up to it, but it's still very interesting. This friend of Alexei said, I just learned that fluvoxamine, a common SSRI used to treat depression and other psychiatric conditions, increases the half-life of caffeine in the bloodstream, like to an absurd degree. Now, that is a very common ingredient in a lot of medications for depression. And I have a lot of friends who are depressed. They're theater. There's a lot to be depressed on when you're an artist, believe me. And they're on a lot of these medications, and a lot of them drink a lot of coffee. And it's interesting because the medications are built to lift you up and make you feel better up here. And then if you're feeling better here and you're, amplifying your caffeine as well, that can tend to make people spin out of control. And some people, believe it or not, who are on depressants, antidepressants, also take another medication to kind of bring them down. Some people bring them down with alcohol, even though they're on antidepressant medication, which is very interesting because they're up and the medication brings them up, and then they try to get rid of the high because it's too much and they self-medicate with drinking, or They get medication from their doctor that lowers them so they can sleep at night. It's can be unwieldy and a bit of a Ferris wheel, going around and around in a circle, and you're just trying to not to be too high, not to be too low, but right in the middle. Stay right here. Even, please. So here's the chart. Plasma caffeine concentrations after the administration of caffeine with placebo, treatment B. During co-administration with fluvoxamine, treatment D. Each point is the mean for all subjects. So you're on the medication here, right? No caffeine. I mean, no medication, placebo. And this is the caffeine with the medication. Wow. So that's really important for doctors to know when they're prescribing antidepressants. You got to find out how much caffeine people are taking in. Because they may be, I don't want to say doubling their high, but they may be affecting the effects of the blood pressure medication, which can be a little troubling. And here's another link that Alexei Guzzi sent out that's very interesting about high school kids who are trying to pad their resumes to look good by getting into colleges. And, they start up little funding things, homeless shelters, ways to feed the poor, and they raise money and they take it in. And here's the observation about that. Pretty wild how there's social pressure on high schooler college students to set up half-real, volunteer nonprofit groups and hype them up with no consideration for how long they last or accomplishments. Now, when adults do this, we call it being a con man. That's interesting. Oh, if a kid's doing it, well, the intentions must be good. They must be real. Yes, they're collecting donations. We don't know where their donations are going, but it's like a lemonade stand. It's helping the kid and helping the homeless. And no one's investigating this. It's not being tracked. It looks good on a resume. It might look good to even help pay some college tuition. But these charities, these interests set up to propose to support people, they work or they not may work. And that's a big problem, trying to figure out who's real and who's unreal. And unfortunately, the longer we live, we find there is more unreal than real. The ungenuine outweighs the genuine. And now we're taking our next blood pressure break. I'm hitting my advertising button. And we'll see. Oh, I got a little green check mark, which I think means it's going to work. Yeah. Back in a moment. And we are back from break. I'm David Boles. This is Boles.tv. BOLES dot television. And we are here Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Well, we earlier discussed the fact that Jan and I fasted for a couple of days over the weekend, and as a part of that, we decided we were going to watch some movies. And there are not a lot of new movies that are out or that are very interesting. I mean, modern movies today, by all the major directors, are comic book characters. And it gets really old. It's not interesting. There is no stretching. There is no dynamism. You make one big budget blow-up movie, every 2-3 years, and you make 2 or 3 of those and you call yourself a career director. It's not really an interesting form of directing or presenting material. So I thought, hey, let's go back in time a little bit to the 1970s and see if we can find some interesting movies. Now, the 70s, what? I figured out 45 years ago, these movies were the movies of the day. And I thought, wow, that is a long time, 45 years. What has changed? What is different? And I realized that these 3 movies we're going to discuss, 3 Days of the Condor, The Parallax View, and The Day of the Jackal, are all sort of the Jason Bourne, John Wick, mystery thriller, political thriller genre movies of their day. But the difference is in the acting. The acting is absolutely much better in 1975. The directing is much better then than now. And I'll explain to you why, and I'll show you how. So the first movie that we watched was 3 Days of the Condor, which is based on a book called 6 Days of the Condor. So right there is your first clue that there is something a little bit wrong with 3 Days of the Condor. They're missing 3 days in there somewhere, where that's not 6, it's 3. Now I know that if you are a dramatist and you follow Freud's theme of the 3 caskets, you're either going to have a choice of 3 or a choice of 7. But watching the movie, you can tell that they have a time problem, that things are really compressed and then things are way too stretched out. And you just wonder if they had made 6 Days of the Condor, if the movie would have been a little more interesting. So 3 Days of the Condor stars Robert Redford with his big floppy hair and Faye Dunaway. Now, Faye Dunaway, oh no, mommy dearest, oh no. Faye Dunaway, oh, she's just terrible. Chinatown, ew, who wants to work with her? Roman Polanski said she had one hair out of place, and the light was catching it. And he just went there, pulled it out of her head, didn't ask, pulled it out of her head, and she threw a fit, she screamed, she walked off the set for 3 days. But this is a 1975 movie, very short, about an hour and 45 minutes. Most movies back then were 2.5 hours. So it's sort of compressed. And Robert Redford is in it, Faye Dunaway, Max von Sydow, Cliff Robertson, and John Houseman. Spectacular, spectacular cast. Cliff Robertson does not get enough credit for the excellent career he has had as an actor. And the story begins very interestingly. Robert Redford goes out for lunch, comes back to his New York City office, and finds everyone in his office has been murdered. Now what? He's on the run. Bum, bum, bum. And there are going to be spoilers, okay? It's been 45 years. You've had 45 years to watch these movies. So he goes on the run, and we find out that he works for the CIA. He's a researcher. He has discovered something that someone higher up doesn't like, that he said it was a scenario to watch out for, but it's not a scenario. It's actually policy of this certain guy from the CIA. Okay, so they have to kill him too because he's the only one who knows. And then he finds Faye Dunaway. And Robert Redford's not a very good actor. He looks great, but not a great actor. Faye Dunaway is a great actress. And she is, of course, very beautiful. And in this movie, she's very plain and very passive, which is unique. But that's the sign of an actress. And I think she was terrific in the movie. And she plays a very weak and pasty, limp-wristed role where she's always scared and she's getting threatened by Robert Redford and kind of pushed around and tied up by Robert Redford. And she decides she will help him clear his name and find out what's going on, and she'll be his accomplice. Sort of like a Bonnie and Clyde in verse. And the most cringe scene is when he has been discovered. He knows Max von Sydow is following him and chasing him, takes a shot at him. He's a paid assassin. And he goes back to her apartment, Faye Dunaway's apartment, and they sit there and they're talking. And we know that Max von Sydow has the license plate of her car that Robert Redford was driving. So we know instantly he's going to be in that apartment shooting them. And Robert Redford says, just for one night, I need to escape from all of this. I need to be a man. You're a woman. Yes, they're chasing after us. They're shooting at me. But I just need a break from it all. And then we have the obligatory, I think, 5-minute sex scene between Robert Redford and Faye Dunaway, which has no chemistry, no power, no sizzle, nothing. It's awful. And all you can think of watching this as a viewer is, why aren't they running? And you don't want that kind of tension because you know everyone wants to see a sex scene back in 1975 between Robert Redford and Faye Dunaway. You don't want people saying, hurry up and finish so you can escape. And sure enough, another assassin comes in. He happens to be a mailman, shoots up the place with a machine gun. Robert Redford throws a chair at him. Faye Dunaway helps knock the guy out. Robert Redford shoots the assassin postman with his own gun, and then they're really on the run. So, it's not really very interesting. The acting is terrific. The story is not great. But the movie was directed by Sidney Pollack. Now, Sidney Pollack is a very interesting, famous director. Pauline Kael, who I believe at the time, for many years, was the movie critic at, I believe, New York Magazine. Or maybe it was the New Yorker. I can't remember. I'll look it up. Pauline Kael. She was the Robert Ebert of her day. New Yorker magazine, thank you. And she was terrific. I should be showing you what I'm seeing so you can share it with me. So this is Pauline Kael. Very famous, excellent film critic. Right about everything. Right? I have not read a review of hers that I did not agree with. She was Ebert and Siskel before there was Ebert and Siskel. And the thing about Pauline Kael is that she hated Sidney Pollack. I don't know if she hated him as a man, but as a director, she loathed him. I mean, hated him. And the funny thing is every time he would release a movie, no matter what the movie was, and he has had a very varied career, Pauline Kael would kill it. I mean, viciously go after Sidney Pollack. And he would joke about it. But she had a lot of power. So she was sort of dangerous in that way, that she could kill his movie. Not New York Times power, but New Yorker power. A much more elite and sophisticated sort of power. And readership. So that's Sidney Pollack. He's no longer with us. He died in 2008. But he made a lot of movies with Robert Redford. Out of Africa. He also directed Tootsie. So he this is what's interesting about Sidney Pollack. He has great talent. He can direct Tootsie. And then in the same career, he can also direct 3 Days with the Condor. Now you would think, oh, that's easy. That's what directors do. Not anymore. Now they're all stuck in their genres. Where if you're a big action Michael Bay movie producer, you're not going to be able to direct a quiet movie. So here are some of his credits. And he was an actor and a producer. They shoot horses. Jeremiah Johnson, right? Another Robert Redford movie. The Yakuza, 3 Days of the Condor, yes. Bobby Difford, The Electric Horseman. Robert Redford movie, Absence of Malice, Out of Africa, Robert Redford. The Firm, The Interpreter, Amazing Grace. Okay, big talent. 3 Days of the Condor. I give it 6 out of 10. Now, here's another staple of the 1970s. Warren Beatty, The Parallax View. With Hume Cronin, William Daniels, and Paula Prentice. Paula Prentice is really very interesting in this movie, and she's killed, I think, within the first 10 minutes. It's like, what happened? Finally, we have this wonderful actress who's terrific, married Richard Benjamin for many years, and she's dead. And Warren Beatty has the big floppy hair. Again, not a great actor. A little bit boring. Doesn't have any makeout scenes like Robert Redford. He's just sort of there being hunted. Parallax View, let's see my notes that I've written here. Released in 1974, 90 minutes long. Very quick, it feels longer. But it's not fast-paced, but it is power-packed. And this is an interesting story. They say it's like about the JFK assassination, but for me watching it, even though this was before my time, it was more Bobby Kennedy's assassination than JFK's. Because Bobby Kennedy was shot in a hotel, gunned down by an unknown gunman, posing as a kitchen staff waiter, and that's how the movie opens, with this very popular senator who is gunned down by a lone gunman, but there's actually a second gunman there. The lone gunman is shot and killed, and then Paula Prentice comes to Warren Beatty, who works at a newspaper, and says, hey, I'm scared. I need help. Because everyone who was in that room when the senator was shot is dead. And I'm next. And Warren Beatty says, oh, it's not you. And the next scene, she's dead. And Warren Beatty says, oh, there is something going on. So Warren Beatty goes out and dances around, gets hired by the assassination company that's killing all the witnesses. And then in the end, he is set up to be the killer of another senator candidate. So the theme of the movie is government is corrupt. We have assassinations by paid assassins. And we can set you up to make you look like the bad guy, even though you're the good guy all along. And the movie is compelling. It's very interesting. But also you need to know what parallax means. Parallax is a movie term, is how I know it, but it has many other meanings. And we'll just briefly look at this. This is what parallax is, viewpoint A and viewpoint B, which is really terrific because that's what this whole movie is about. And there's really only one viewpoint in that the government and its operatives are out to silence dissent. But the other point of view is, well, I'm the free press and I'm going to go out there and prove that all these terrible things are happening. So the object is in the middle, and one viewpoint looks at red, the other viewpoint looks at blue, and no one sees the white in the middle. A simplified illustration of the parallax of an object against a distant background due to a perspective shift. When viewed from viewpoint A, the object appears to be in front of the blue square. When the viewpoint is changed to viewpoint B, the object appears to have moved in front of the red square. And this really has to do with astronomy. But we're going to go down and we're going to look at this, what it means in photography, which is film. And a lot of movies make this error. And when I was a film student at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I studied this a lot because I thought it was fascinating. A parallax error can be seen when taking movies, with many types of cameras, such as twin-lens reflex cameras, and those including viewfinders, such as rangefinder cameras. In such cameras, the eye sees the subject through different optics, the viewfinder, or a second lens than the one through which the photo was taken. As the viewfinder is often found above the lens of the camera, photos with parallax error are often slightly lower than intended. The classic example being the image of a person with their head cropped off. The problem is addressed in single-lens reflex cameras, in which the viewfinder sees through the same lens through which the photo is taken, with the aid of a movable mirror, thus avoiding parallax. Parallax is an issue in image stitching, such as for panoramas. So that's the meaning of parallax, which then describes the movie beautifully. And Alan J. Pakula was the director of the parallax view. And again, here's another beast of a director. Here are his notable works. Clute, The Parallax View, All the President's Men, Robert Redford, works with all the best guys. Comes a Horseman, Starting Over, Sophie's Choice, Presumed Innocent, and The Pelican Brief. Now, what modern, current movie director has anywhere near that kind of range of directing? Funny, comedy, serious, straight, political, Western. There isn't one. And he died in 1998. Big superstar. Now, here's what's super interesting about those two movies. Three Days of the Condor and The Parallax View. Coen brothers, that could be. They're very interesting. I'm glad you didn't say the Wachowski sisters, because that's a whole different bag of tricks. And I know Steven Spielberg really believes that he is that, but Steven Spielberg to me is always saccharine, overly sweet, overly perfect, and not very interesting. Quentin Tarantino is trying to be that way, but he's just a little bit, for me, too rough. If he did a sensitive film that was a straight sensitive film, it would be interesting. P.J. Anderson is another interesting director, but not with that kind of range and high success. The Coen brothers do well, but their movies don't make money. In the same way that Sidney Pollack and the Pakula movies made. Now, the interesting thing about the two movies we've discussed so far is that they were both written by Lorenzo Semple Jr. Now, you may think, as I did, Lorenzo Semple Jr., where have I heard that name before? Well, it turns out he is an amazing, mystical man, and he died in 2014. 2014. Wrote Broadway plays. And he wrote the first episode and then became a producer of Batman. The original good television series Batman, Lorenzo Semple Jr. So that is his take. So he can write 3 Days of the Condor, The Parallax View, and also do Batman, which is high camp. What a talent. We look at his example of the things that he did. Lots of early success, incredible career, was loved and honored by people who knew him. Screenplays, Batman. He wrote the movie for the Batman, which was terrible. The TV show is just great. I think it's hard to keep high camp up for longer than 30 minutes. And for television, Burke's Law, The Rogues, Batman, Rat Patrol. Remember Rat Patrol? Oh my goodness. Green Hornet. We used to play Rat Patrol in school. It's just great. Lorenzo Semple Jr. A great and wonderful author. Now our third movie is this, The Day of the Jackal. And it's based on a book as well. This was a long movie. This was 2 hours and 20 minutes. And it was my favorite movie of the weekend. The acting was just spectacular. The writing was crisp and cured. The direction by Fred Zinnemann, and who knows Fred Zinnemann? With 4 N's in his last name. Nobody knows Fred. People may have heard of Sidney Pollack, Pakula. Zinnemann, not so many people, but he did a lot of good things. He's a very interesting character. And here's the thing about The Day of the Jackal. It's sort of, at the beginning, based on the OAS, and they are a political group trying to assassinate Charles de Gaulle for giving back Algeria to the Algerians. The OAS was a military group, a militant group. And they tried to kill de Gaulle and missed. And then they want to kill him a second time, which is where this movie begins, and all of it is fiction. It didn't happen. But the first attempted assassination was true. And we're told about that in a voiceover right at the beginning of the movie. So these OAS people go out and they decide to hire a killer, an assassin, from London, bring him into Italy, and then into Paris to kill Charles de Gaulle on Freedom Day. And the whole idea of the movie is kind of cat and mouse, where you have the French authorities trying to figure out internationally who this guy is, where he's come from, what's he doing, how do we find who he is. So it's an unraveling. And the most disappointing part for me is that the assassin really has no help. He has to kill about 3 or 4 people to keep his identity secret. So he does get to kill people. But in the end, he doesn't get to kill Charles de Gaulle. He is killed by the investigator investigating the case. It's all sort of simplistic. But the acting is terrific. And the story is very interesting. Paris is just gorgeous. And that's another thing about these 70s movies, is they just take you right back, if you're a person of my age, to your childhood. And especially with 3 Days of the Condor, where they're filming all over New York City, and it's just breathtaking. And that has always been my imprint of what New York City is. New York City, 1975. That is when I think of New York, the film grain, the cars, the skyscrapers, that's what I see. Even when I go into Manhattan now and look around. I'm in 1975. I am not in 2022. So movies make a difference. They place imprints on what you imagine a place would be like. And Day of the Jackal, France. This was a 1973 movie, absolutely gorgeous. And the thing is, and I don't know if this is a modern thing or what, but when you watch the movie, you are really rooting for the jackal. Because the jackal, not to kill de Gaulle, even though that's his mode, but you don't want him to be found out, and you want him to accomplish his mission, which he almost does. At the end, he takes a shot and misses, and then is discovered and is shot and killed. And I wonder if it's because you just realize today how much of an advantage the government has over a lone assassin. There were no digital records in 1963 when this took place, the time frame of the movie. So everything was on paper. You have the whole government. You have Italy, France, the United States. Everybody's there helping, trying to figure out who this unknown assassin is. And I'm curious, in 1973, if when people saw this movie, if they said, oh my gosh, great, they killed the jackal. Or were they a little disappointed, thinking, oh no, the government wins again? Because it's interesting, it's not that the government stops the assassination. That's not the title of the movie. The title of the movie is The Day of the Jackal. So we are in the jackal's mind. We are with the jackal all the way. The jackal changes who he is and what he is from time to time. Sometimes he's English, sometimes he's Danish. Sometimes he's having sex with a woman. The next day he's in a Turkish bath with a man. And I wonder how, in 1973, how that went over. Did people realize what a Turkish bath meant? And then they went home together. And then they're seen together, and then he has to kill the guy he's with because the jackal can't be known. And then in the end, all the names that they were tracking were not the name of the killer. At the end, we don't know his real name, and we don't really care, I guess, because we see him being buried because he's dead in a box. But still a very interesting movie, and even though you sort of know how it's going to end, it's still power-packed, and it moves very, very, very quickly. And it's not even a murder mystery, it's sort of a manhunt, but not really, because you know the government's going to win, because they always do. So this is Fred Zinnemann. And he's dead, 1997. This is what he looked like in the 40s. Made this wonderful, interesting film. Long career in the movies. And we'll take a look at some of the movies that he directed and see if you recognize any of them. And then you'll wonder why don't I know his name? Filmography. The Seventh Class. Hey, there's Gordon. 2 points. One is that I spelled Coen Brothers correctly, and the other is that our good friend Box Office Mojo, that shows box office returns, seems to say that their movies do make money. No Country for Old Men did $171 million worldwide on a $25 million budget. Yes, it's very true. And they also have very cheap representation. They don't have agents. They just have a lawyer, whom I'm sure they pay very well, but any money that comes in belongs to them. I think that's probably their most successful movie so far. Although Fargo was good, and Fargo now has a TV spinoff, so they're making money from that as well. So you can see Fred Zinnemann has a very long and storied career. A Man for All Seasons, Day of the Jackal, Julia, 5 Days, One Summer. He also made short films. And unfinished films, that's always a problem. So Fred Zinnemann may not be as well known as Alan J. Pakula and Sidney Pollack, but boy, oh boy, he knows how to direct. He knows how to tell a story. He knows how to move a plot forward. Now we're going to take a very brief break and come back. We're going to talk about Jessica Seinfeld. And I keep saying in my mind Jessica Simpson, but it's Jessica Seinfeld. And I'm saving this for the end because I get very riled up talking about her. And I'm going to be all wound up. And then you can't think straight when you're trying to do the rest of the stream. So I'm finishing the stream today with Jessica Seinfeld. Back in a moment. And we are back from break. I'm David Boles. This is Boles.tv. BOLES.TV. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Well, I had a big show today about celebrity and kissing and slapping and movies and success. And now we come to the final topic of the day. Miss Jessica Seinfeld. Now, I have a long and storied history with her. Not her with me about her. As our good friend Gordon Navidescu reminded me over the weekend, when Gordon sent me this. I remember you wrote a fantastic blog post about her, against her, Jessica Seinfeld, and her theft of a book deal, which later said in court, I guess, that she didn't steal it. But the evidence was very interesting. She has a new cookbook called Vegan at Times, and you can just surmise how awful the book might be. All the recipes are 100% vegan, so what gives? Why that title? Apparently, it's meant to encourage meat eaters to try vegan food, Gordon asks. But to me, it just comes across so eating vegan is something cool to do once in a while. So this got me all triggered. And I'm remembering Jessica Seinfeld. And for me, she gives off Jada Pinkett vibes. That weird kind of energy, mean, controlling. Now, here is the link to my blog article. Now, this blog article, when it was first published, way back in 2007, 2007, very highly read, had lots of comments on it. And then some people would email me and say, oh, and they always say this when you write anything that is slightly negative about someone that they like, and it's usually a celebrity. They say, oh, you're just jealous. Jerry Seinfeld has all this money and you just publish a free blog. Like, that's their argument. Well, what about everything else that I wrote about? Oh, it's just jealousy. And actually, jealousy is not the right word. It would be envy. Jealousy has a sexual content. Envy is wanting something that someone else has. So, Jerry Seinfeld is a very strange guy. Interesting show. I'm not going to read you this whole thing, but pretty much he was dating the wonderful Shoshana Lonstein, who I think is just terrific and very interesting. And then this Jessica got involved, and she was engaged to be married to Eric Niederlander. And the Niederlanders are a big theater-owning company in New York City, based, I believe, in Minneapolis. So she got rid of Eric Niederlander and married Jerry Seinfeld instead. And I'm sure it was all about love and not about money or about having the last name Seinfeld instead of Niederlander, right? And here's the whole story. And how strange and bizarre the whole episode was. And is Jerry Seinfeld a catch? I don't know. Maybe he is. Lots of money, I suppose, if that's important to you. Now, this is interesting. Jessica Seinfeld appeared on Oprah to promote her cookbook, Deceptively Delicious. And 1 week later, it's a national bestseller. Now, getting a best-selling book is very easy. The Trumps do it often. All you do is write the book, and you have all of your political friends go out and place orders of 10 to 50 to 100 copies at various bookstores all around the United States. And you buy them, and you make a bestseller overnight. And then you don't even pick up the books. You just tell the bookstore, hey, when the books come in, just throw them away. Because it's not about that. It's about being able to say you have a bestseller. So I'm thinking about this. And the Streisand effect? Barbara Streisand was angry that a photographer took a picture of her, I guess, Malibu home and put it on the internet, and so she decided to sue him for invasion of privacy, even though she's not in any of the photographs, and he's taking a picture from a helicopter of her house. And because she sued him, she created all this interest in this guy's work and pictures of her home from the outside that never would have been there if she had just kept her mouth quiet and not said anything. And that has become known as the Streisand effect. The calling attention to something that you don't want people talking about will make people talk about the very thing that you don't want them talking about. So, in this conversation about Jessica Seinfeld, I'm Streisanding affecting myself because I'm giving her attention. We're going to go look at her book because you have to look at it in order to have a conversation about it, unfortunately. So we will. So that's my blog article about her. Here is the website from Simon & Schuster for the Vegan at Times book. Now, first of all, how bizarre is that? As Gordon rightly pointed out, vegan at times. For what purpose? As I understand it from my research and from what my friend Gordon tells me, is every recipe in this book is a vegan recipe. Which is terrific. But why doesn't she own it? Why is she playing games? Why is she being tricarious? And saying vegan at times. How does that relate to the content of the book? What is the point of it? I do not understand. So this, and I don't want to read this, but this is what I call a blurb. PR stuff. An all-new collection of more than 120 recipes that are so delicious and easy to make, you might even forget they're vegan. Which is a big insult to vegan people. What is that about? What, are you trying to say vegan's bad to eat? Yes, that's what you're saying. From the #1 New York Times bestselling author of Deceptively Delicious, Double Delicious, The Can't Cook Book, and Food Swings. Now, right there. Jessica Seinfeld claims to be upfront, open, interesting. But why do so many of her books have negative titles? Deceptively Delicious. The Can't Cook Book. And now, Vegan Almost Maybe. Why? What is the point of that? That's an interesting psychosis. And she picks the names of her own books because she has Seinfeld as her last name. And here's where it gets really bizarre. Like this is a selling point. Jessica Seinfeld isn't a committed vegan. Her husband, Jerry, and her children aren't either. Instead of convincing you to become a vegan or shaming you for eating meat, she simply wants to show you how easy it is to be a vegan, even though you wouldn't want to be. By cooking flavorful, affordable, and robust plant-based meals whenever you want. Whether that's every day, once a week, or just once in a while. The disconnect there is so alarming. But when you reach a certain... Oh, see, my music has stopped. 58:15. I'm writing that down. But when you reach a certain status in life, marriage in life, military success in life, monetarily, people kowtow to you. Oh, you have the last name Seinfeld? Well, we can at least break even if we publish a book by you, even though it's a cookbook. I don't know why it's so important for her to be a cook anyway. And then we go to Bon Appetit, which is a food magazine. Oh, Gordon has to say, that would be like if you did a book called Exercise, if you feel like it. Full of exercises that people can do, you know, if they feel like exercising that day. Exactly. I mean, call the book Vegan for Meat Eaters. Now that's more interesting because you say, okay, look, we know you like to eat meat, but here's a vegan cookbook that you can come and eat. And even though you're a meat eater, you're going to like what you read in my book. Cook it. And here's the title of this ridiculous woman's story. Jessica Seinfeld eats vegan most of the time. She is. Now, I do say, and maybe this is aging, I don't know, or maybe it's hair color, that this image of Jessica is healthier than this image of Jessica. I just have to say. Now, here she's more robust, darker haired, fuller faced. Here, I think she looks better. But what do I know? Jessica Seinfeld is working on eating vegan most of the time. So bizarre. A home cook with a family of 4 and 4 cookbooks under her belt. She'd be the first to tell you she's a work in progress. She doesn't always get it right. But guilt is not in her playbook. She and I sat down to talk about her new cookbook, Vegan at Times, which shares over 120 vegan recipes. The pleasure and privilege of eating a plant-based diet. Now, the vegan lifestyle is not about guilt. The vegan lifestyle is about doing the right thing and ending suffering. But I don't know a lot of vegans who are out to guilt other people into eating vegan. You lead by example. That doesn't involve guilt. How did the book come about? Oh, I wish I had my voice change over this. Use my helium voice. Not that she's an airhead. The idea behind this book is so simple. I'm on this journey of trying to eat less animal protein and products. Join me. Well, that's terrific. Then why didn't you write a book about that? If I do the math, I'd say I'm 80 to 85% vegan, and every month it keeps increasing. What about during the holidays? Well, the math will probably change. I don't want to use the word setback because I hate negative terms that we use around eating. Oh, really? Let's see, negative terms around eating. Deceptively Delicious is the title of one book. The Can't Cook Cookbook is another deceptive title, negative title, and Vegan at Times is a terribly negative title. So you're bringing this onto yourself. Food is a pleasure. Food is a privilege. When we start shaming ourselves, and most important, shaming others around food, it just turns people off. I think that's what's caused a barrier around eating vegan. People feel like if they can't do it 100%, they're a failure. I'm not always perfect. It's a process. Well, I would say to that, look, you can eat healthy. You can eat healthier than eating meat all day. I don't think it's appropriate to have a vegan cookbook and say, hey, do this one recipe, and for that one meal, you're a vegan. Because vegan is not about eating. Vegan is a lifestyle. And it's impossible today, currently, for I would say 99.999% of the people to be actually 100% vegan. Because if you drive a car, if you use a computer, there are animal parts in all of it. It's a process of decision making. How much harm do you want to do based on how much harm you don't want to do? Is it better to be more vegan than not? Yes. Should people call themselves vegan if they're not eating a vegan diet and following a vegan philosophy? Probably not. But even where in the UK and the US, there's a split, a small split, but it's a split. Veganism was created in the UK. UK vegans do not eat honey because it's a product of a bee. Whereas the United States, there are some people who say, oh, come on. Honey is bee vomit. This is something that the animal no longer wants, the insect no longer needs, and is vomiting it out. It does not harm the insect, the bumblebee, the bee, the honeybee. It's fine to eat. So right there's a split. There's a major split between two factions of veganism. So try not to get stuck in it. And Dr. McDougall, who is a vegan and a wonderful doctor, has written many books on eating right, eating healthy. It's all vegan. Every year for Thanksgiving, he eats one piece of turkey. He doesn't like to call himself a vegan. He says, I eat a vegan lifestyle every day except for one. And he does that so the radicals can't say, oh, you're two-faced. You're not 100% vegan. You eat turkey. And he says, yeah, I do. Just for that reason. So I can't be accused of any little minor indiscretion. So if me eating one piece of turkey once a year makes me not vegan in your eyes, that's your problem, not mine. So it's very popular with many of these mainstream artifacts, celebrities, to say, oh, I'm vegan. Mark Cuban is now vegan on the Shark Tank. And I believe it because he's very thin, he's very fit. He now invests only in, when it comes to food, vegan food companies. So he's putting his money where his belief is, which is terrific. And sometimes you eat something and you think it's vegan and it's not, it's okay. Now you know, so you move on, you don't eat it again. It's not that big a deal. But to write a book, I want to say vegan almost, but vegan at times, just seems like the height of being silly to me. If you're vegan, be vegan. If you're not vegan, don't be vegan. And I understand it's hard being a vegan in a house where you have kids and a husband who will not join you on that journey. It's very, very sad. As I told the story last week about the woman who was doing a 7-day fast, and she was in day 5 of her fast, and she went online to the fasting group asking for help. She said, look, I'm starving. I don't know if I can make these last 2 days. I don't know what to do. And the friends in the group said, look, play Tetris, play a game, go for a walk, exercise, and then go home, take a hot bath, and go to bed, and you're going to be fine in the morning, and then you only have 1 more day to go. And she said, yeah. She said, I'm on a walk right now because my husband is home making BLTs for himself. And I can't stand the smell of bacon cooking because I'm hungry. This is not a vegan story, but this is related. It's about support. And I'm reading this, I think, what a selfish person. You have a beautiful wife who's trying to be healthy, trying to go on a 7-day fast, and on day 5, you decide that you're more important than she is, and you're going to stand there in your shared kitchen and cook bacon for yourself. Now, if you have to have bacon, if you just can't support your wife for 2 more days, let her have the house. You go to the bacon factory, whatever it's called, and sit down and have a bacon, lettuce, cheese, tomato sandwich, whatever it is, and then go home. Why do you have to make it in front of her? Sabotage. So there you have Jessica Seinfeld. She's back. I don't know who wants her back, but she's back. With a vegan cookbook that she doesn't want anyone to use and call themselves a vegan because she thinks that's negative. Why would you write a negative cookbook? I just don't understand it. She's trying to have it both ways, trying to swing for the fences while also striking out. It's a strange sort of anomaly and not one that I understand. And I thank Gordon for bringing that to my attention because it got me all wound up yesterday. I did all my research and I just couldn't wait to get here. And then Gordon said, in a very interesting turn in our conversation, hey, I now live in Florida in a very lovely place. Beautiful town. And people here are friendly. They wave. He said he went out the other day and emptying the garbage, litter box, something, and I think he said the garbage man honked at him and rolled down the window and waved at him. And Gordon's like, wow. Gordon's originally from the East Coast. Wow. And Gordon waved back. And I said, that reminds me of growing up in the Midwest. You wave at people. It's very important. You're driving in a car, the 11 miles between North Loop and Ord, Nebraska. You're going to pass maybe 2, 3, 5 cars on the way. And you're driving like this, and the car's coming this way, and you raise your finger. And you look at him, raise your finger. And he does the same, raise your finger. It's the finger wave. It's hello on the street. And people in small towns, especially small towns, seem to like to say hello to each other, either yelling or waving. Hey, how are you? Hello. I often start this stream. Hello, waving. And when I see people on TV, Even though they're not talking to me, and even though it's recorded, they're waving. I wave back. It's ingrained in me. And waving and saying hello is also a way to see if the person doesn't wave back. Then you know they don't belong, they don't know you, and they're under suspicion. So saying hello and waving is sort of a code switch between those who know the rules of interaction and those who don't. Now, on the East Coast, people do not tend to wave and say hello. I do. And sometimes it's to my detriment. I have been told by people, you don't fit. You don't fit in here. What do you mean? You just don't fit. And I know what they're talking about, my background, where I went to school, waving. Why do I fit in the urban core? I like the people. I would rather live in an urban core with lots of people all together than live in some estate in Connecticut where nobody speaks to each other. And, as I mentioned to Gordon, when I leave the building and come back 5 days, 10 times a day, I always wave at the front desk. Hey, Jay. Hey, Melissa. Oh, hey, Dave. And after about the 10th time, it's like, they look at me like, I'm not waving again. Because I wave when I'm going out and I wave when I'm coming back. So they know I'm here. Hello. Hey. Hey. I wave at people on the street. Hey. Nobody waves back. It's the Midwestern in me, and I'm not getting rid of it because why? You don't have to wave back, but I'm going to wave at you. That's what I do. And sometimes with the front desk people, I have to say, I understand. You're busy. You're looking down. You're on your phone. You don't want to look up. You don't want to wave back, but I'm going to be waving at you. So it's okay. I'm just saying hello. I don't need your attention. You could ignore me. If I want you, I'll stop and speak your name. And then there are people who work in the building like Samantha, who wave back like that. Or their pose. You wave, oh, hi. Now those are fun people. Those are people who understand the human condition, people who want to make a connection, people who don't mind saying hello 10 times a day, if it's 10 times a day. Now our building manager, Mendel, not a big waver. Not a big talker. But his assistant, Samantha, is. It's fabulous. Some people wave like this, some people wave like this. I like waving. That should probably be my sign-off as well from now on, waving. I mean, I think XQC, remember him? Live streamer, 60,000 people watch his stream, $8 million a year in profits from Twitch alone. At the end of his long 8, 9, 10, 24-hour streams, he plays his song, which is terrific. I hope you enjoyed your stay. And he waves. And he's not being silly. He's from Canada. Canada is a big waving place too. It's like the Midwest, very friendly. Friendly people wave at each other. When I did voir dire for my jury service, I think there were 50 of us in the room, and every time they said my name, I'd say, hi, wave. Now, also that gets their attention, waving like this. You know, you cover up your screen, you wave. But nobody else, I realized, waved in my jury pool. Only I waved. I like the visual. So XQC waves goodbye. I wave goodbye. And now it's time to say goodbye until tomorrow. A lot of fun today. I thank Gordon for being a big part of the show, helping structure the form and intent of what we're trying to do here together. If you would like to send me an idea or a question, you can email me, david@boles.tv. You can find me on Twitter, super follow available, @DavidBoles. On Facebook, we're just plain old Boles. On Instagram, we're Boles Books. TikTok, Boles TV, and here's our Discord server. In case you would like to join, it's open 24 hours a day. And you can join our text chat and our voice chat and be a part of our live stream. Now, our friend Gordon says, quick but funny. At the end of the television show, Call Me Kat with Mayim Bialik, the people in the scene start waving goodbye. And then everyone else who was on the episode comes into the scene and they also wave goodbye. And Malka waves back. Well, I just love that. I like waving. I think Vanna White also does a lot of waving at the end of Wheel of Fortune. But I love that people come in, they say goodbye, thank you for being here, wave, I love it. You can wave goodbye and you can wave hello. It's the aloha of the hand. I'll be back here tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, ready to go. Our Discord server is available. You can post interesting comments there during the day, anytime, even when we are not live streaming. We have an NFT section where if you're an NFT artist, you can post your artwork. And if you're interested in artwork, you can post comments and commentary on what you're seeing. So until tomorrow, I wish you a good day, a happy nap, a good evening, a wonderful morning. And I hope you awaken, whenever that is, with joy spiriting your soul. I'll see you tomorrow.